This is grass. I'd suggest touching a lot of it this month if all you care about are new MMOs, because this month is pretty slow. However, there are 7 things this month when it comes to new MMOs, and chances are there's at least one on the list that you haven't heard of, and maybe, just maybe, there's even one on the list that you might be interested in. By the way, don't forget to like and subscribe. Let me know in the comment section below if you want me to continue this series, and follow me on Twitch where I'm streaming MMO content daily. Let's begin. Our first MMO on the list begins with MapleStory Classic. From August 4th through the 12th, MapleStory Classic will be having its second closed beta test. If you're not familiar with what MapleStory Classic is, think classic WoW relaunch, but for MapleStory. Classic is based on the MapleStory version from the mid-2000s, but with a few modern, carefully selected quality of life improvements. This is not going to be a temporary event server, it will be a persistent one with ongoing updates. They are expecting to have at least one more test before the official launch, so I'd imagine MapleStory Classic to garner a lot more hype and discussion closer to that date. The launch date, that is. I'm personally not really a MapleStory guy myself, but the hype for Classic Global is pretty real. I'm expecting it to be pretty massive when it drops. Alright, on August 5th, we have a playtest for a small little game 99% of you guys probably have not heard of. Firefly Trials. This one isn't exactly an MMO, but it is an MMO-inspired one. According to their Steam page, Firefly Trials is a 3-player boss rush raid-like game with fast-paced MMO-inspired battles. The game kind of sounds like Fellowship to me, only small raids instead of Mythic Plus dungeons, and with charming anime graphics that look like a cross between Forever and Blue Protocol. By the way, I do know that this isn't exactly an MMO, but I feel like there's enough overlap here to add it to the list. Like I said, August is pretty damn dead, and our list this month isn't exactly long. Anyways, if you're interested in checking out the playtest for yourself, I believe you can sign up via their Discord, which is linked on their official Steam page. On August 7th, we have Elderwood Online's early access launch. I mentioned this in last month's MMO monthly video, seeing as it was supposed to be launched last month. They delayed their launch to August 7th and thus get to be featured in my videos twice. In case you missed my video last month, here's the quick skinny on Elderwood. This is an indie MMO developed by one South American individual who looks to deliver an MMO that pays proper homage to the classics of the late 90s and 2000s. This is a tile-based top-down MMO with art style that looks reminiscent to Ragnarok Online. According to the dev himself, early access is expected to last for 6 to 12 months, depending on feedback received and financial resources to keep the servers up and the game developed. The early access will offer a world about half the size of the full launch version with a fraction of the quests and other content, but it does sound like it's still a pretty relatively complete game, offering the usual MMO content along with social features, guilds, PvP, GVG, PvE/MVP, commerce, and trade, according to their Steam page. Notice the MVP in that description, by the way, if you're not familiar. That's the field boss system in Ragnarok. So yeah, definitely expecting a lot of Ragnarok vibes with this one. Here's an interesting one. Dominus Automata. I think I'm saying that right. An indie automated MMO is having its multiplayer playtest on August 7th on Steam. Dominus Automata is, quote, an automated MMORPG game created for players who love depth but no longer have time for traditional grinding, end quote. So yeah, I'm not 100% sure how this is going to play, but judging from its descriptions and videos, it seems like this will be exactly what it says it is, an automated MMO where your character will essentially play the game on his own based on your designs and decisions. It almost sounds like The Sims, kind of. At first I thought it would just be pretty much an auto grinder, but I guess the hero will quite literally just play the game on his own while you tailor his priorities, combat styles, and goals. Pretty interesting concept. Aside from this, it is supposed to be a full-scaled MMORPG with a player-driven economy, group content, guilds, crafting, exploration, all that jazz. I'm not gonna lie, I will probably check it out because August is just that slow, for MMOs at least. On August 13th, we get yet another indie title, this one giving serious MapleStory vibes, but in pixel art form. Souls Remnant is set for its official launch on Steam, which is a 2D platformer MMORPG that focuses on social gameplay and exploration, according to them at least. Other than the surprisingly nice music that plays in its official Steam video, that should be playing right now, Souls Remnant kind of looks a little charming if you're into pixel art graphics. I mean, the characters look whatever, but the combat and gameplay kind of look like it could be fun. The gameplay does seem a bit extra or loud, if that makes sense, but I do know 2D platformer games can deliver some surprisingly fun boss fights, so it'll be interesting to see what Souls Remnant can deliver for an indie team. Which, by the way, this is another solo dev project that has recently doubled its team size to 2. As I do with most indie MMO launches, I'll probably check this one out on Twitch if I'm in town. One of the more exciting AAA open world titles we have coming up, Cinder City is set to have its first NA pre-alpha playtest that will be under NDA on August 14th through the 16th. Now, to be clear, Cinder City is not officially labeled as an MMO, and a lot of people are speculating that the game will be comparable to The Division and The First Descendant, but it does have a lot of content that sounds MMO-like. Story missions, side missions, and dynamic events in an open world that you can take on solo or in a group, field bosses, instanced dungeons, quote, massive world raids. These words, by the way, are quoted directly from the Cinder team themselves. Here's the official description of the game. Quote, Cinder City is an open world cinematic third-person shooter set in a fallen near-future Seoul. Fight alongside allies, push back against overwhelming threats, and reclaim the city from the forces tearing it apart. As someone who has lived in Seoul for like 15 years or so, I gotta say, they did a great job reimagining Seoul, the city, in a video game. In the trailers, at least. I definitely plan on checking this one out myself. Signups for the playtest are open, by the way, if you want to play as well. I'll drop a link in the description. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, this one kind of surprised me. Stars Reach is set to have its early access launch on August 18th with 3 purchasable tiers. $30, $50, and $80. Stars Reach is a sci-fi sandbox MMORPG led by Raph Koster, who is the lead designer of Ultima Online and the creative director behind Star Wars Galaxies. His involvement certainly put this one on people's radars, but the game really isn't talked about too much in the MMO space. If you want my opinion, I honestly think it's because the game has never really been in a good enough state for it to create any buzz. The last time I played this game, it was pretty bad. The game was just severely unpolished, bugged, and just all around felt like a budget indie game. It was scuffed. And that was in March of this year, I believe. It's hard for me to believe that it's launch-ready quality in that time frame, but hey, I'd love to be wrong because the game design on paper sounds pretty cool, especially if you're into sci-fi. A large open sandbox world with a big focus on player-driven content where players build the world itself. The world is meant to feel like a living, breathing, socially driven MMORPG, the opposite of a lot of these modern-day MMO lights. If this game hasn't climbed mountains since March, I really don't see this game doing very well, and if I'm being honest, the game quality was so poor to the point I kind of get the feeling this may be another Kickstarter trying to quote-unquote officially release. I'll check it out because it's what we do, and if it does end up being surprisingly good, I'll let you guys know. Okay, so the last game we have on the list isn't exactly a game launch or a beta test, but instead an official announcement. On August 27th, during the Worlds of Play, the game art exhibition by Tencent, we will be getting an official announcement on Honor of Kings World. This is a highly anticipated MMORPG, or MMO Lite, that's been out in China for a good bit now and recently had a global alpha test. This is a game that I will and have already covered on my channel. I actually have a relatively recent review and rating on the game that I'll link in the description below in case you guys want to check it out. But yeah, this one I'm expecting to be a pretty solid release with a lot of comparisons to Where Winds Meet, another MMORPG or MMO Lite. Honor of Kings is the biggest gaming IP for Tencent, and it looks like they're looking to expand the brand from the mobile MOBA scene to a broader PC online RPG scene. A lot of people have been waiting for news on an official global launch since it is expected this year, and it looks like we might be getting those dates really soon. And that pretty much wraps up August, guys. Be sure to let me know in the comment section below if there are any games that I missed. Keep in mind, these videos do go out at the beginning of the month. I will edit my pinned message at the top of the comment section with all of the updated games, if there are any, as usual, and I will see you guys in the next video.